afternoon to everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to be present here to see this initiative, which is regarding health and wellness. Specifically, I must say, what is a military man doing in terms of wellness? All over the world, people who protect their own countries make strategies. And in that strategy, they are able to define what exactly is the threat and what is the challenge and what is to be done. Now, it may not go down well, but let me tell you, the American National Security Strategy of 2018 spoke of pandemic. We saw the pandemic 2020. So obviously somebody was doing his job of crystal ball gazing quite well. Everyone needs to do it. And as we get into this current environment of growth and security, we have to understand that without growth there is no security, and without security there is no growth. Every country has to go through that. This is an era of new wars. The same conventional wars are over. We've got into an era of hybrid warfare. You know why I'm talking of hybrid warfare is conventional, unconventional, traditional, non-traditional, kinetic, non-kinetic, contact, non-contact. All these kinds of things happen, and in that, most important is the health part. A nation can be strong in terms of its demographics. Numbers are important, but so is the quality. If your quality is of people who are ridden with cancer and diabetes, it's not an asset to have such a huge population. That is the reason that every nation has to look after its population, and this initiative, I think, is most well timed, in the right direction. Now it is for us to take it forward, and when I say take it forward, it's a whole of nation approach. It cannot be left only to the PM, or it cannot be left to ease of doing business to handle it. Everyone here is a stakeholder, and that's what our Prime Minister always keeps saying, that sense of entitlement is fine in a democracy, but the contribution, the capability to pay back, to contribute to the nation is also extremely important. And that's what in Hindi or in Sanskrit, for my friends on the left, is kartavya. Kartavya is what I have to do for the country. And that's what I think John F. Kennedy also had said. What does the citizen do for the country? So all over the world, the thinking is the same. It's whole of nation approach, whole of society approach. For whom? The selected few who are in urban society may find recourse to their problems very early. With my experience, where you have remote areas, and those remote areas where you can't reach, the access to health is extremely difficult, and that is the reason why people from the forward areas are moving to areas of comfort, and that creates further problems for the national existence. And another issue which the Prime Minister said, the forwardmost village is our first village. It is not our last village. Somehow, all of us in the bureaucracy possibly started looking at it, the last village. It's not the last village, it's the first village. So priority obviously has to be first. And that is where all your solutions, which are technologically empowered, have to ride on a network. And that's what the government is doing, pushing the networks as far forward as possible. You have the digital networks, then you'll have e-health, you'll have e-commerce, you'll have e-education. And this is not something new that we are talking of. This has happened in Australia, because Australia is a nation of distances. And it's happened nearly 20 years back, so, or maybe more than that. You're looking at technologies like the geospatial technology, which is going to empower us further in terms of data, in terms of reach, outreach to people all over the nation. Finally, they are our people. So it's our responsibility to get them the niche technology. Now, when we are talking of niche technology, in this initiative, we also have to keep in mind, technology is not static. Everything is dynamic. Things change, and things change very fast these days. Every 18 months, you find something new happening. We may call ourselves as a superpower in software, but where is the hardware? Where is the hardware for the network? And who is embedding something in that? So the security of our networks is also extremely important. All over the world, there is a realization that whatever data is flowing has to be kept secure. Now you can have your practices, you can have technological initiatives into that to keep your data safe, but you have to keep diving deeper and see what could be possible dangers. Adversaries in this country or in this world are very carefully evaluated, analyzed. Even the superpowers have adversaries. So if there is a revisionist superpower coming up, then even the USA has to think again. So all of us have to be on our toes to understand what is the situation today and what is the likelihood tomorrow. We all talk about data, and I'm sure Vinith has spoken about it. When we talk on a PowerPoint slide, we say data is oil, data is gold. But look at we ourselves, how careless we are with our data. It's leaking, it's going all across because we have no value. What may not be of value to me as an individual may be of value to the country. There will be data collation, and thereafter, since data is the first requirement for AI, and from there you will be able to do big data analysis and then apply the algorithms of AI and find out what are the strains in the health sector in this nation. And thereafter, such things happen. COVID happens or any such thing happens. Look around us, you will find there are many interested people who are carrying out research in our country to find out maybe advancement in medicine, but could also be vulnerabilities in our demography. So we've got to be extra vigilant, we've got to be careful with what we are doing. You know, it is very good to have the best of medicines, but the better thing or the best thing is not to fall sick. A lot of pride is taken that in every street there is a doctor and in every street there is a pharmacy. I don't think that is something to be proud of. What is extremely important is to get your diet right, to get your environment right, to get your exercise regime right, and to be a healthy population. You look at small countries which have existential threat. They focus so much on wellness. Israel is one such nation. You look in the morning, you find the entire population out doing exercises. You look at their diet, they are so conscious of their diet. And here is a country which has been thousands of years of wisdom, thousands of years of knowledge, and suddenly what happened? Possibly the kind of education system that got imposed on us just took away that entire wisdom from out of our system. We've got to revisit that. We've got to take the best practices which exist in the world today. We've got to take the best practices which existed in our own civilization. When we call ourselves a civilizational state, it implies wisdom, it implies knowledge, knowledge-driven society. So we have to be very careful with what are the present dangers which may be a part of that non-traditional threat which is combating an adversary, and as Sun Tzu said and as he guided China, wars are not to be fought but won without firing a single shot. And this health sector is one of them. Environment is another one. So when you look at health, even the environment plays an important role. So if environment is getting spoiled, then you have various kinds of ailments which spring up. We have a society which is extremely rich in different forms of wellness and different forms of curative thought process. And again, the Prime Minister brought in composite medicine, where he brought in a ministry, and that ministry is meant to do things like this. But obviously, those who are practitioners will not yield space. So it is for us to look at what is best. What is the best cure in skin? What is the best cure in lungs? What is the best cure in surgery? I think that is the way to move forward. Data colonization is one thought which has been mentioned by Mr. Vinod G. We are in a world which is globalized, we are connected, there's democratization of internet. So anybody who thinks that they can impose sanctions, I want to just tell you this will not work. Because internet or globalization is global. But if somebody tries to bring in some segmentization and bring in sanctions, it can work in a particular area, it may work for a particular period of time, but that's not the solution. So we will have to bring in processes, we will have to bring in protocols to ensure chemical and biological security hereafter. The entire human race will be vulnerable to threats of pandemics, threats of engineered, doctored chemical attacks. So we have to all be careful, because if we leave an enlightened and empowered future generation, I think that is the best gift we can give to the future generation. Thank you. Good afternoon.